guys, welcome back to another episode of And the Changing Seasons, The Circle of Life. I'm with some more dope artists here. I have Ellen Sabrino, Gail, good day. Got it right? Alright. Yeah. Then I got Juan Gomez there. I'm sorry. And of course, my homie, my brother, Rafael Timbrino here. Today, it's a, what can we use our mantra again?
I ain't fucking with you.
I ain't fucking with you. I thought we should bring that in. It's pretty lit. So guys, what we're going to do is start off here with what got you into the art, what kept you guys going all this time, and what inspired you to get into art. Evan, would you like to start?
I'd love to. I had the pleasure of being surrounded in art. I was born into this level. Both of my parents are well-known West Philly artists. Ellen Powell Sabrino and Joseph Sabrino. My father was an artist, my mother was an oil painter. Growing up at my family's museum, which is located at 3019 Hamilton Street, I was surrounded constantly by different artists, constant influx of people with different arts. But it's funny though, I didn't appreciate it too much growing up. I was like the normal breaking down, we were always the Addams family of the block. It wasn't until high school where it was like, it became an advantage. My mother didn't see them. I also went to an arts high school, so that didn't hurt. When I really found my calling, because like I said, I strayed away from the family business. I went to school to be a social studies teacher. I was doing a workshop with my mentor over here, Darion. I think I was having more fun than I was her assistant on a peaceful project. And I was having more fun than the kids, so at the end. So there's more like working on my own project, like Ellen, it's over, and everything just clicked, So, long story short, that's how my path brought me here. For the last 15, going on 20 years, give or take, I've been a professional artist.
So, Gail, getting into art in your childhood, what inspired you to keep going?
I consider myself a maker. I love making things, and I think I discovered that I just love making things when I was probably in middle school. I just sit at the dining room table and make stuff. All through high school I did the same thing. I took some ceramics classes. I love ceramics, I love pottery, I made my own kilns, I was constantly making pottery. I just was making stuff all the time. And finally my mother said to me, would you like to go to art school? So I didn't really see myself going to college, but at that point I said, sure. So I attended what is now University of the Arts, and I majored in ceramics. And I've been pretty much working with clay ever since, probably since high school. And now, way out of high school, way out of college. Still working with clay.
I had Joe Brennan.
Brennan,
Yeah, I had him here. I think he was here last week. And I had asked him, he told me that he found a piece of clay laying around the house, and that's what got him into the sculptures and stuff like that. What was it for you that really put you into it?
I think it was just working 3D. Prior to starting working with the clay in high school, I was just painting and drawing and doing stuff like that. But once I picked up something that was actually like sculpture material, then I knew I found my rhythm, sort of. And, so I kind of fluctuate between doing 2D work and 3D work now. I do some 2D work with clay and glass, and I still continue working 3D with the clay as well.
Now, Juan, you're from a Dominican and Puerto Rican descent. What was that like growing up for you, and how did that help cultivate your artist character?
I grew up in Little North Philadelphia when they throughout all of the drug dealers in New York. I literally saw an invasion of that as a kid. My parents knew me and my brother would draw all the time. They literally bribed us. They bought us art supplies just to keep us in the house. Because the activities in that neighborhood is just ridiculous. I was this offbeat kid, and I'm still this offbeat adult, doing these crazy designs. I mean, it's like me and my brother were like constantly back and forth drawing. I mean, from Bruce Lee to alien monsters. I mean, comics, whole mix of that stuff. And high school came around. That was a weird experience. My brother was the talent, the star, whatever he was, and I'm like, wow, what's this little kid? And he actually guided me to become the artist I am now. And he had shown me a path that I didn't even understand myself then to become an artist. I give him a lot of credit on that growing up, and then I took it further. Out of high school, went into college. But I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. Raphael, I met him in art camp. It was like maybe 10, 12 years old. I don't remember how old I was. And I thought he was a fellow Latino, so I started speaking Spanish, and he goes to me and says, "Oh, no. I don't speak Spanish," and we've been friends ever since. You know.
We were 12.
Yeah. Okay. And this is an ongoing symbiotic relationship we have here, even till now. You know. And what fascinates me about being the artist, or an artist, or whatever the hell that is that we get to express ourselves and actually see the response from the public. And actually, what's weirded me out is like, why do these people buy this stuff? Even that. When I sold my first piece, I was 14 years old. So one of the directors from the art camp came around. I really like this. He had a check. He said, "How much you want for it?" I was a kid. I didn't care. I didn't care.
You remember how much you sold it for?
Yes, I did.
How much?
$35. I didn't care.
What was it?
It was I made up like a city scene where you have two trucks going into a neighborhood. I think the guy was enamored by it, and one of the instructors said, "Are you crazy?" I said, "I didn't care." I said, "I didn't know what this was about. I just enjoyed doing the work." For me, art is about expression and actually communicating whatever language you want to put out there to whoever identifies with it. Gotcha. All right, I'll leave it at that.
Now, Ellen, when Gabe was here, he's the youngest out of the tree.
Yes.
I asked him, did he feel like he was forced into art? He told me he kind of fell in love with it watching his dad do it. Now, are you the oldest out of?
No.
Okay. No,
I'm trying to get some hits today.
Hey, I'm asking.
Raphael is the eldest sibling. Then comes
okay.
Leonardo. Then comes me. Then comes Gabe.
Okay.
I'm the baby. I still claim baby status because I'm still the only
But you're
girl.
a girl. So how is that for you?
Big Joe's Art Boot Camp. It's funny that Gabe doesn't feel that he fell in love with it. Well, I'm glad he did, because Gabe, I mean, they really had the art training down by then. I mean, he was constantly, I guess they weren't losing. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. Gabe was really put through the paces, and it's funny that she said that he loves it, because I don't react well to that. I'm the person, if you tell me what to do, I'm gonna go the other way. And it's funny that I love it so much. Like, damn, I guess I should have been so stubborn. I'd be a lot more developed
Right.
as an artist, because whereas all my brothers went to semesters of Fleischer Art Memorial, summers at Moore, summer art camp. I got no all summer art camp.
Why are you now?
I don't. I was going to.
You want to tell?
I don't know. But I'm sure she remembers.
No, I don't. My hand.
I remember you as a child.
I was the best. I was.
I'm not
I mean, you
surprised.
see, I am now. But everything happens as it should, because if you don't have that passion, that's not
I'm so blessed. You see so many people now that are miserable in what they do. So I really love what I do. And you were asking me, what was it like you growing up? So that's why we got against it, because it was Big Joe's art boot camp, Big Joe and Ellen's, But I am an artist, It's funny. What you are is what you are.
Okay.
Something else. I be able to do what I love and live off that. And, more and more with everything that's going on politically and everything, money's not going to matter if your water's destroyed, if your environment's destroyed. Everybody has such dis-ease now with what's going on politically and stuff. People don't have peace of mind. You see a lot of, just a vibe from everybody. We're in some dark times right now. So my art is really my salve, my everything. Because I have it, it brings me a lot of joy and a lot of happiness. I'm very thankful.
Now, Gail, if you were able to give your younger artist some advice from what you know now, what would it be?
Probably just work a little bit harder and go after what I wanted a little stronger. I left the art scene. I didn't leave the art scene totally, but in my early 30s to move to New Jersey and have 4 children. So that took up a bit of time and a lot of creativity. But I did manage to get
we're sitting here, so
to keep the work going. So I don't know. I mean, I would have to think about that a little bit, probably.
Okay. We'll swing back around. Next question. What about you, Juan? Would you give your younger self
I would say I would never go back, because whatever I'm doing is just happens. It's just like one of those things. Like, why do I have to go back on something that's already done?
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like, how can I tell my younger self when I don't know my younger self? I'm somebody else.
Hypothetically, man. If you
No,
happen to buy
hypothetically but it's like, for
time
me,
machine or something.
no, I feel you, but it's not, for me, it's like everything that I've done is supposed to be. That's how
Right,
I feel.
I feel that. It's like the butterfly effect.
I do feel like that
Something
too,
like that, yeah.
but I still probably could have went a little
So I wouldn't know, that's my thing. I wouldn't know.
Hypothetically, if you were able to go listen to something,
I got a journal. Dates and times on this day. Don't be there. Don't do it. But you know what? And it's funny because you never stop making mistakes. And I was contemplating something the other day. I think everything that's really positive brings you to where you're at. I couldn't have the highs I have now without looking at it. So I wouldn't change it. I love playing on.
All right. Well, this time what we're gonna do is get more into the art, how you were feeling when you created that art, and your little process when you work your creativity. Juan, I want to start with you and this girl you used to know. You have a piece called Sonya's Theory.
It's funny that you have to do that. But I feel like I'm really on the spot, but that was my fault to even put that in there. But let's start with that. That piece was part of a series of a lady that I just went whole head over heels with. She went head over heels with me, but I didn't know what the hell that was back then. And she's really put me through the depths. I mean, emotional, physical, everything. And I had to let that out of my system. I had a dealer look at that particular drawing. And he said to me, that drawing is you. The remnants in the background is you being broken off. And she's all put together. He was very accurate in saying that piece was, I was affected by her presence so potently that I deteriorated myself literally in the background of that image.
Wow.
And, come to think about it, what happened to me then affects me even today when I look at that piece, because it's a period of time where I was questioning, what is this thing relationship? What is this thing physicality of it? What is this the psychological aspect of it? I was in my probably my early 30s, and come to think about it, it helped me mature to deal with situations like that in a more delicate manner instead of forceful.
All right.
being bombarded at the same time. It's almost like the Blitzkrieg in London when Nazis came around. That's where I was. I mean, it was really intense.
Do you remember the emotion you had while you were drawing that piece with the
I
heart
just
beating?
told you that.
I mean, of course you told me that. I'm talking about the actual time where you like drawing it on the board.
It was more like a therapy thing for me.
Okay.
It was like at
Was
that
it like
point in my
a
life.
release? Was it a release?
Yeah, but
Okay.
not only that. It was also it also reflects on how I looked at the frail nature of being a person in love, in lust, and whatever that was, because whatever I had with her, I don't know what it was. It was nothing confirmed. It was nothing. We would always go out. She would always seek out for me. I always seeked out for her. We had some sort of a click for a while, then it just died. You understand? It's just one of those maturing moments, I guess.
Growing apart.
Yeah, I guess. But
Now, Ellen, you have a piece called "I Am Blue."
Am I blue?
Am I blue? I'm sorry.
It's taken
What was
from
that?
the old jazz standard. I love that face. It's a series of my first cast of my face. I did with my mentor, Jessica. She's talking she's my teacher. I grew up around her. She was the one that I was doing that workshop. She brought me into this, as far as giving me my own unique voice, a way to express it. I don't want to go off on that. I want to go off on this piece. So I did this cast on my face, and it was a raccoon fire, and I hand painted. I was, really wanted to make myself pretty. And then when it came out of the raccoon fire, there was a way of putting things on it. You get a special effect when it comes out. So I used horsehair.
Horsehair.
And the way it burns on it gives you the effect when you see that
What's
piece
raccoon
of
fire?
lines. Raccoon fire is when it's taken out of a gas kiln. You put it in hay. It's a process of oxidation reduction. And you get yes. And you get these great effects that I'm not as talented as my mentor. So it gives me a lot more bells and whistles. I love the technique. It's a lot more depth than it makes just my voice technique a lot better.
And where's your piece of work?
And the piece, it's my self-portrait, and I'm often, at that time anyway, things are a lot different now. It's funny to look back, but I was a little sad. I think it was that longing for romantic love, looking for, you can have everything else, but not have, so am I blue, you do too. It's about the love that got away. It was just actually, this one cat, the one I wanted, that I just never could seem to make it work. And, it's so silly now. It's a big beach. It's 1,000 other people. But I'm sure anybody who's ever been in love, that's not the way you think about it. Just if I don't, and why can't, and again, fighting against that wall, I think like Juan was saying, it's not the one for you, let it go. It's funny how both of our pieces kind of run in theme. So, am I blue?
Now, Warface.
That is a recent piece, and I'm really feeling that piece. That's actually one of those series of those. It was called, they just ran a competition, arts, at the Barnes for the outside studio space. And you were supposed to answer back to a class in the Barnes. And I was all about doing these masters and this and that, but then when I saw his African, wow, it just spoke to me. It was just so powerful seeing these, because it was so primitive and so raw. And for my style, mosaic, which is not a traditional, it just spoke to me.
So explain for people who don't know, Ellen, the piece was one of Barnes's masks.
Barnes' African mask that he brought back from Africa, Nigeria. And it's a war mask. It's when the young men are training, it's capturing that. And with everything going on politically right now, I feel like I am that. so that just captured where I'm at, and it really came out hot, you know, really. And you know what, my brother always, you know, you know, he will, you know. Raph came in and did a rough sketch for me because here's the funny thing, everything I've done has been free game. So my whole thing is, you know what, you know, try to, it should be that much better maybe if you laid it out a little bit more, you know. And it's funny, the sketch he did for me, I couldn't transfer it because I'm working on a new method. Not solid wood, ruby board, so things are lighter when you move in mosaic. Okay. And especially for the barns, because you had to glue it on your 8x10 canvas to hang on the walls. So it had to be this new technology. But it's also me like, hey, you know, if you put a little more plan into it, you know, you can more let yourself go free because you have this design there. So it's something simple, but, you know.
Now, Gail, you have a series out now called Nature and Geometry. Plenty of ways that could go together. Geometry, I'll leave that to you. I suck at math, so help me understand your series a little bit.
Okay. So I guess about 8 years ago, I started the series Nature and Geometry, and because I am a teacher, I was teaching some of my art students. I'm a public school art teacher part-time. I was teaching them the rose window at Sharks Cathedral, stained glass. We were looking at circular art, mandalas, and things like that. And through a lot of research and looking at a lot of different stained glass windows, and especially from like the Gothic period, I found out that a lot of the artists then were using something called sacred geometry, which goes way back. So I took a deep dive into sacred geometry and looked at all different kinds of things, labyrinths, other stained glass windows, circular art from all different periods, and really got into it. So going back to that question that you asked me before, what advice would I give? I think I would the advice to myself would be to take deep dives into whatever thing you're into at the time, because sometimes at the end of that dive in, you can come up with a lot of interesting stuff.
Okay.
So that was that, and I mean, it brought me around to like Fibonacci set, which brought me to looking at the way plants grow and spirals in nature and things like that. And I was never good at math. That was like the poorest subject when I was in school. In fact, when I went to art school, I told them I failed math, and they said, "Don't worry, honey, everybody here does." So, you know, going back in my 50s and rediscovering how much I really enjoyed math was something. And so I needed to come up with a way that I could work quickly because I teach and I don't have a lot of time for my own work. So I started making these casts. I made clay casts of some of the bas-reliefs of different symbols from geometry and some nature symbols, so that I have these sets that I can, whenever I have time, I can just kind of pop them out and arrange them in all different kinds of ways, and I just keep building my vocabulary of both nature and geometry. So I'm still doing it.
I think I'm gonna balance out my vocabulary back to a little bit. Now, I don't know if you guys really are into social media. What's going on now?
We all are. I can speak for everybody here.
Well, there's a lot of beef going on in hip hop and music. Now, in art, I never really hear about artists beefing. But if someone, Ellen, was to walk up to your canvas while you're painting and just took a color that didn't go with your painting at all, but just slashed it across the middle of your canvas, how would you react?
Nobody's getting near my canvas unless I invite them to. It's funny, I had a girlfriend of mine from New York, Lucy Valdez. She was in my studio visiting from New York, and she asked me that. And I am funny about somebody on my canvas, you know, and I was painting clothes actually. And she said, you know, I want to paint on that. And I really love this woman. She's a wonderful artist, has a great work ethic. And I let her paint, and she took those irises and turned them into something different. And I was like, baby, that's not, you know, but I let her paint. So it became something else. So, you know, if you give somebody that power, you have to be willing to work with what comes out. Because it's not going to be your vision. You're not in control of what. And that's life. You know, you're going to get hit. Sure, you're going to paint around, or, you know, you can fuss about it. Or maybe even try to rebuild it. I didn't. I said, well, now it's wild grass. It's not an iris anymore. You know, so I just work with her painting on my canvas. Because you can't control other people's paint. You can only control what you're painting.
What about you, Gil? Was there ever a time when somebody took over a vision that you had, or how would you react in this situation?
Well, I do a lot of art residencies with kids and students in schools where I end up making very large artworks, mosaics with students, and quite often they do stuff that I'm not really into. But you know, when you work as a collaborative artist, the challenge is to do the creative work around, just like Ellen was saying. You know, do I change what they do? Never change what they do. Just, you know, work with it and find, you know, use your creative powers to make it work.
Okay. What about you, Warren?
I have a story for that.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is back when I was living with my folks in Jersey. I was in my first year, no, it was in my last year at the Academy of Fine Arts. And
The first time.
some individuals, for some reason, went into my space where they shouldn't. I had a series of drawings, and we started working on it. Without my knowledge. I looked at that stuff, I said, no, hell you did not. I'm a very conservative person when it comes to my work. I don't want no one to touch it unless I allow you to do it. When they did that, I was actually going to do a portrait of Martin Luther King when Neanderthal came around. And this room, it killed it. Now I have these like horror visions in my mind. I was like, to go back to do Martin Luther King, for me it's going to be very difficult because of that. You know what I mean? But I am going to do that eventually. Because it's been almost 20 years since.
Wow.
You see, it's like,
I get it though.
it's like when somebody's eating your sandwich. You don't know they ate it, and then they tell you 20 minutes ago, God, you got kudos. It really screws up your, I don't want to sound paranoid or crazy, but it really offsets whatever that energy that you have put out there.
No, I get that though. I understand.
So it's like, that's a no-go for me. Even, I had a collaborative class for my master's degree. I didn't let anybody draw with me. And I even told her, no, I will not participate in that because of that one incident.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I know.
Well, guys, I appreciate you coming here to sit down and talk with me. I really enjoyed your company. Raphael, do you have any closing remarks or words you'd like to share?
Radical Gallery next Friday, the 12th, and the Change of Seasons. Circle of Life Art Show. It's going to be lit. Hope to see everyone.
I added
What time is that
Circle of
starting?
Life.
Brett,
We did.
that's from 6 to...
6 to 10.
I just want to reiterate, I added the Circle of Life.
Was that your thing?
That was his. That was his.
Sweet.
Very nice.
I had something a little bit more macabre going on.
Yeah.
Well, we
Don't
worked
you
that-
always, don't you always.
That's indicative of your work. So what's new?
All right, wonderful.
That's it. See you guys next week.